What is up, JL Life? Modell here. Today's video, we're going to be looking at my Raptor lining and how it's been holding up over the last year. Stay tuned. Over a year ago, I Raptor lined my sliders and I Raptor lined a tire carrier. Halfway into the year, I got a new bumper and I Raptor lined that. I've been getting questions on how it's been holding up to the type of wheeling I do. So let's go and look. One thing this video isn't designed to do is argue Raptor lining is better than powder coating or powder coating is better than Raptor lining. I will let you know right now, a good quality powder coating will obviously be better than Raptor lining. I chose to Raptor line because it was easy DIY, it was cheaper, and there are parts I'm gonna be beating the hell up, and there was no point to go invest, you know, $600 into powder coating all three of these things, possibly more, just to scratch them the hell up. So I removed my tires so we can look at the Raptor lining on the tire carrier, and it's been holding up really well. I do not regret Raptor lining the tire carrier at all. And you can see some contact that I am having when I am bouncing around. That doesn't surprise me. I have the tire as close to the tailgate as I possibly can muster. Now, where I am noticing some of the Raptor lining kind of flaking off is where the tire is actually connecting, or there's some sort of bolt connecting and it's just rubbing together. Now, you know, this is where the wheel sits, and of course, you know, it moves very little. If you guys watch the type of stuff I do, this shouldn't surprise you. There's a little bit of rusting kind of going on. This is too difficult of a fix. You can, you know, what I would suggest, the tire carrier part, not so much the tailgate. Powder coat the smaller things, more so where the tire connects to the tire carrier. If I could go back and redo it, I would definitely Raptor line this, no questions. The smaller parts probably would powder coated. What's awesome with this, it being small, you can DIY that yourself. The Raptor lining on the bumper, now this thing takes a lot of abuse, and it's holding up really well. But typically what I do after, when I'm not being lazy, I'll just come and clean it up and I'll hit it with spray paint or a bed liner in a can. You know, where I hit the most are obviously the corners. And I mean, the Raptor liner isn't going to hold up to getting scraped by rocks, but I mean, it's not flaking off. You can obviously see that it peeled back, but it's not just chipping off. And there's another one. Using the shackles, it did kind of peel off some of the Raptor liner. Again, it's not flaking, it is peeling. We'll touch that up. Very happy that I decided to Raptor line the bumper. Now let's get into the sliders. You can see our last trip out, I took all that off on one obstacle. But again, this is holding up really well and I'm super happy with it. I banged the hell out of them, not gonna lie. The parts that are rusting, that's more so me just being lazy and not cleaning and painting them after a trip. I mean, even down here, it's not chipping. It's just, there we go. Here we get in there close. Zoom in here. It's more like sandpapered it off, I guess is a good way of putting it. But no, this is definitely, I made the right decision doing this. And here's driver's side. And again, you know, it's not chipping. But as you can easily see, I abuse them, and I'm not always diligent on cleaning and repainting them. We need to do that. So that's what we're going to do in this video. Clean up some of this rust, and we're going to do some touch up. We're just going to be using an angle grinder. Use a very fine grit flap disc. I'm looking like a nerd. So when you're using your flap disc, make sure it's a very fine grit. If it's an aggressive grit, you're going to be digging into your metal. What I would recommend is just using a very worn one, because it's not going to rip it off, and it's going to be slow paced. And of course, I recommend taking care of this when you ding them up, and you don't have to do this extra work. Hey. So not much to this part, just get yourself some degreaser, wet rag, and just kind of get all the excess residue off. Rubbing alcohol would be good too. Get yourself some bed liner in a can, because I'm not going to strip this down every time I booger them up. Get yourself a backing plate. And what you're going to do is you got to give these good shakes. No, this isn't the right way of painting all of this. This is the quick and dirty. I'm not investing a lot of time into something. I'm just going to turn around and again. This is just to prevent rust. Now I would just recommend, if you're doing it while it's on the Jeep, don't go to the sides of the cardboard that you're using to shield your Jeep from a rattle can. And if you're going to the edge of it, you're going to be getting it onto your Jeep. If you do, don't fret. Your clear coat should make it really easy to clean up. Just some degreaser or rubbing alcohol and just get it right away. But again, kind of stay within the center of whatever protective piece you're using. So if you're sitting there wanting to ask the question, Mo, if you could do it again, would you Raptor line all these parts? 100% I would. You know, when I was quoting things locally on getting these parts powder coated for the tire carrier, I was told it would be about $250, $300. And of course, the size of it and the size of the bumper, I assume would be the same. The rock rails roughly around the same. That's around $600, $700. I didn't want to spend that type of money into something that I was just going to be beating and banging around on rocks. It just seemed like a big waste of money. I went and bought a big pack of Raptor liner. It was $200. I got like 8 cans. I still have half of the cans for when I want to do my next project of Raptor lining. But 100% I would do this again. Like I said, the only thing I would have done differently is I would have powder coated the mounting surface of the tire carrier where the tire rubs up against. It's because all those small movements just rubs away the Raptor liner. If you stay on top of it more than me, granted, I live in a very dry climate, so rust is usually on the back end of my mind. But if you live in somewhere that's not as beautiful as New Mexico, just clean it and spray it anytime you scratch it up and you'll be fine. Hi. Why are you watching me?
Because I love you.
I don't want to be watched when I'm working. And this video isn't to settle the debate whether Raptor lining is better than powder coating. I remember when I was doing all this, there was a handful of people who wanted to sit there and tell me this was a stupid idea, that it's just going to flake off, get crusted in the New Mexico heat, the New Mexico sun, and I'm just going to be hating life when it gets to that point and I got to strip it all. That's the thing about opinions and the internet. Everyone has one. Do what works for you, do your own research. Like I said, the only reason I did this was it was the cheap and dirty way of doing this, and it holds up a hell of a lot better than a rattle can. And I wasn't prepared to go and spend $600, $700, $800 getting these 3 parts Raptor lined, powder coated. Stupid. So here's Misty's stubby cat fab bumper that we have on hers. This one is powder coated. It's holding up really well. Again, I feel like I'm going to have to stress this. I'm not over here saying Raptor lining is better than powder coating. I know powder coating is better. It just turns into one of those scenarios. Good, better, best. Good. So Misty's sliders, we actually just spray painted those when we welded on her her rocker knockers, her sliders were already really warped and jacked, and we didn't intend on keeping them. This was just added protection in the meantime, so we spray painted it. Good. Obviously, any sort of coating is better than nothing, but it's the spray paint doesn't hold up very well, especially in the heat. It will peel off. As you can kind of just see, it just comes off. What am I even showing you? Yeah. Of course, these aren't long-term, and you get into the Raptor lining on mine, better. Holds up great. It sticks to the surface. It doesn't just flake off. It fits my needs. And of course, you have best quality powder coating, and all of these are reflected in the price. So just keep that in mind. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to
Like, comment, subscribe, and share.
stay tuned for the next one, y'all. Keep it easy.